season 4 episode of No Law Firm Left Behind. Uh, we enjoyed our break, didn't we, Dave?
Well, absolutely.
you
Great holiday
know,
season.
I'm kind of feeling out of practice, actually. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, December is such a tough month because you just don't really want to do anything. And then you find yourself not doing anything. And then you wake up and it's January. You're like, oh, I got to start doing stuff again. So,
Well, my wife put a meme out about January, and she said January is just a bunch of Mondays tied together in 31 days.
yeah,
So I don't disagree with her. But here we go.
it's true.
Listen, welcome to No Law From Left Behind. This is our 2022 season. We call it season 4. And we have some big news to talk about today. There are going to be some changes coming up, and I think you're going to really like them. But, we started off, and Dave, this is not a monologue. So, gosh, just like interrupt me because I'll
I
just keep
will. Don't worry.
just and don't raise your hand. We started off No Law From Left Behind a few years back at the beginning of COVID, when law firms started going into working from home mode due to the lockdowns and quarantines.
hmm
And Dave and I knew at the time, we just knew that law firms were going to need a lot of help. Do you remember back then, Dave? Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
mean, it was a whole new experience. And we had a lot of our clients
Mm,
come to
yeah.
us and express that they weren't sure what they were going to do.
Yep, yep. So Dave and I started looking at it, saying, "What can we do to help?" And we started this, and really, I was the only one. I kind of took the forefront, the tip of the spear in the beginning of this. Dave and I were always working in the background, but we started out by realizing that law firms were going to struggle if they couldn't go to court, if they couldn't see clients, and now many of them across the country had to do something that they'd never done before, and that's have their staff work from home, meet clients virtually, and ultimately have courts, do virtual hearings and so on and so forth. And so we came up with the idea where we knew a lot of managed service providers and IT people around the country to put this group together. At the time, it didn't really have a name that I remember. Do you remember? I don't even think we had a name. It was just like, let's just do this thing, right?
Yeah, we just started off with
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. And I made a couple of videos which were horrible, I admit.
It's so funny to go back and look at some of the early ones.
Oh my gosh. Well, in my defense, we couldn't get haircuts, right? You couldn't get haircuts. What was I going to do? And I'm a guy that has, generally short hair that doesn't look really good when it's long. No comments there, Dave. No comments. So we reached out to a bunch of IT companies around the country, and we realized after 25 years, we know what they need. We serve, lots and lots and lots of law firms, and this is when Dave was with us before he stepped out to be a lawyer again. Congratulations again, Dave. That's a great move for you. And so at Buckingham, no less. Here, I'll go ahead and let everybody know. I'll take the caption off there so we can have titles.
There
And
you go.
so great firm. But I'm happy to say, and Dave, you know this, we help firms in California, Florida, Texas, Indiana, Michigan, New York, Tex. Did I say Texas?
You did?
California. I mean, all, and of course Ohio, right? And
Mhm.
just states all over the place, right? We pulled in a bunch of IT people that were able to give out free assistance and free tools, and we did it ourselves, and really to help law firms keep going.
Right.
You know, I'm not patting ourselves on the back. I hope that anybody would step up and do something like that, as we did, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was fun. It was fun. To actually do give back to an industry that you and I have been serving for 25 plus
Right.
years, right? And so after those, and I'm telling the story. Dave already knows the story.
Yeah, I was
After
there.
what's that?
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. You lived through it with me. And after those, after we helped as much as we could, we realized that there was a need beyond that. We realized that there was something else that we could do, and so that kind of grew itself into what you see here, our show, No Law From Left Behind, where we realized that there is a lot that we can give to the legal community across the country, and we should be giving it regularly, not just when there is some kind of crisis.
Mhm.
And so No Law From Left Behind was born, and our goal was to, help law firms Well, wow, our three pillars, right? Help them be more competitive in a situation where competition was like kind of like not even a concern. It was all about just staying alive. So initially, it was just like let's keep the doors open, which is in a way competing. Helping lawyers and professionals keep their jobs, and helping those lawyers and law firms and legal professionals attracting clients that they could attract in the new generation
And so
new era.
one of the things that's changed from our earliest days was, we talk about these different areas that are pertinent to any law firm. You got to have clients, you got to have productive workers, you got to have good security, you got to have all that stuff, right? During the early COVID days, it those things became, Jim, you mentioned it, matters of survival.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it was, how do we continue to even do the things that we've done to create the business that we have? And so we were there to try to keep the lights on, keep the doors open, keep the clients coming in, make sure that you could still work with them. As we entered I don't even know what we call this phase of our lives, post COVID, para
Yeah,
COVID. I
it's
don't know
not
what we call
exactly
it.
post COVID, post original
We
COVID,
can call it
maybe.
we can call it new normal. I don't care what we call it, but the reality is that law firms have adjusted to the survival aspect of it. But what we see now is many law firms and lawyers and other industries as well are trying to thrive in this new environment. And so why should we quit trying to help?
Yep,
We might have
exactly.
allowed them to keep the lights on, but let's try to get better.
Yep, exactly. And so last year and before that, we moved to a platform where we started giving education, right?
Mhm.
Marketing, human resources, recruiting, technology. I mean, we're a tech. We I'm a tech. SpliceNet's a technology company. Dave was with us at the time. Cybersecurity, and that's Dave's area and compliance and stuff like that. Data risk now, as well as technology, cybersecurity technology from SpliceNet. So we educated in all these areas, and we had a sprinkling of guests on, but we liked and it seemed like the format was better, and everybody really plugged into a lot of the team stuff. Matter of fact, what was our highest viewed and watched and listened to episode in the
It was
last
episode on document automation.
yeah, it was on document automation, which is, in a sense, if you think about it, how to do more with less, right? Less resources, less people, and do faster and so on and so forth. And so we grew that, and not just from a live stream platform. Originally, No Law Firm Left Behind was just recorded videos posted up on YouTube, and then ultimately posted on LinkedIn in a short format. Then we became live on LinkedIn, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and then took that to a podcast platform,
Mhm.
which is kind of sad if you think about it, Dave, because the podcast platform kept us from doing those demonstrations that we used to do in the beginning, right? Which is okay, I mean, you grow and you change, and we got ourselves onto Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, Audible, and a lot of other platforms, right? And so, towards the end of last year, we're kind of brainstorming and we're looking and we're listening to our audiences, and we're trying to find ways to get ourselves out there more and educate better, and just kind of keep increasing the game and the value that we bring to the table through the No Law from Up Behind platform. And so the big news, there's a couple of few things here. The first big news is starting this year, we're going to go probably almost exclusively to an interview platform, right? Where we'll be interviewing guests and celebrities and so on and so forth in the legal industry. Maybe there'll be a high level attorney or somebody that climbed the ladder, and we want to show off how they got there so that others can do this. Maybe it'd be a legal admin or a paralegal. Who knows, right? We've got a number of guests we're talking to. We're booked up now through the middle of February, I believe, and have opportunities all the way through March. But some of the guests, for example, also technologies, right? Technology companies that are pertinent to law firms, legal technology companies, legal cybersecurity companies, and so on and so forth. I mean, Dave will actually be able to talk on a lot of the cybersecurity stuff And but I mean, we Mike Brown has been just awesome every time we've had him. Hi, Mike. You know, I know you didn't. I know you didn't know we were going to mention your name today, but man, you know, Mike Brown shows have been phenomenally received by people. Amanda Mossberg, you know, last year we had her on, probably the most watched, most listened to episode of all time was Amanda. She did awesome, Dave. I mean, just a rock star, and her following was great. And so, more people to come. We've got Peggy Grinke from CPN Legal lined up. She's been involved in so much. I can't even go down the list because we don't have enough time. But I'll just mention she's a nationally recognized Clio consultant, nationally recognized legal speaker. She worked with bar associations, just so on and so on and so on. So we're really starting to have the likes of those kinds of people on. Dave, what do you think about just that quick lineup?
I mean, it's going to be an exciting year.
Oh yeah,
And, one of the things that we are going to try to do is, while we stick to our core principles as to what we're going to provide value wise, we want to make sure that we're opening up the scope a little bit and getting some perspectives outside of just how Jim and myself
and
view
Vinny,
things.
and Vinny,
It's great that people like to listen to us, but eventually it gets tiresome.
yeah.
And so to bring in some people with some different perspectives, I think it's going to be a real value add to our viewership.
I'm gonna say tiresome. I'm gonna say I'd use the word boring. Listen to us all the time. When we don't know it all. There's just we've been in the industry for a long time, but there's so many that have climbed through the industry.
Mm-hmm.
We've served the industry, right? I'd like to get our audience people that are living in the industry, right? Not that we haven't done our part, we understand it, we get it. But let me tell you, when I get the likes of a high level shareholder, that builds a law firm that I can't mention his name right now because I just got confirmation this morning that we're going to have him on, and he's really well known. When we get somebody like that on, you're going to want to listen, right? These people have went through the trenches. They've had challenges, successes. They know the wins, the losses, and so that's one of our biggest, our format change for this year. And we're really excited about it. I'm really, I'm really excited to actually, I can almost promise like Mike Brown from Fine Law Thompson Reuters Super Lawyers, he'll be on regularly. He's such a character and so many people enjoy listening to him. So Dave, the other stuff, I'm going to share it now. One of the things that we're going to do next year, we're going to have soon, we'll be launching a website. I don't have a date on it yet, but we're going to have a No Law from Left Behind website where you can find all of the resources and all of the shows and anything we talk about, and maybe even more guest blogs and columnists and stuff like that there too. And then, so that's coming soon. We'll talk more about that later on when we get closer to it. And finally, the thing that I'm most excited about is the No Law from Left Behind magazine, print magazine coming out. It's going to be a bi-monthly magazine, so there'll be 6 issues a year, right? And we'll have incredible interviews. I mean, I'm just excited about them. Can't talk about anybody yet, but these will be people that are outside of legal, celebrities and personalities that everyone knows. And then, of course, when you guest columnists and other things as well that are very representative of the legal community. But No Law from Left Behind print magazine coming out. We are expecting that maybe February launch, maybe March. It's kind of, there's a couple of things that we're waiting for on it. And hopefully an online magazine will come shortly thereafter. That's not been confirmed, but we're working. It's one of our ambitions and goals. But we got to get that print thing done first. We got to start that right away. So, Dave, I'm really excited about all this. This is some
It'll
big
be a big
stuff.
year. Lots going on.
Oh my gosh, it's a good thing that we have all the free time in the world, right, Dave?
Oh yeah, but we'll be here every Tuesday.
Yeah, but we'll still be here every Tuesday with a new guest every week. Sometimes it'll be, I might not even be on the show. I mean, sometimes it'll be Dave and a guest and Vinny and a guest. And by the way, Vinny, we miss you. We wish you could join us, but we appreciate you helping people out today and doing what you've got to do to serve the industry. So Dave, that's all I've got today. Anything to add? Anything exciting coming up for you? You're doing some things. Why don't you talk about some things you're doing?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm doing is I've developed a spin-off podcast, basically, not meant to compete with Not Left from Left Behind. It's very different.
Yeah.
So it just launched last week. It's called Cyber Snacks, and the goal of it is to provide cybersecurity tips that are short, simple, actionable, and reasonable. The goal of the show is to keep every episode target 5 minutes long, maximum 10 minutes. The idea here is that there's going to be a lot of little tidbits that you can listen to quick and easy. My promise is that if something goes above 10 minutes, I'm going to either edit it or trash it. And so I'm going to have a lot of guests on there. You'll have Jim will be a recurring guest. But I've got a lot of other folks
You
who
want it to
are,
succeed, right? You don't want me on it if you want it to succeed.
oh, I think it'll be just fine. It's a podcast. There's no video.
Okay, thank
Um,
goodness.
yeah. So, and this is currently available on Spotify. It is currently available on Amazon Music. If you look up Cyberspace Snacks, SNACKS, um, we just did our initial episode last week. I've got a guest coming up this Thursday. So we got a lot going on there.
That's good. That's going to be great stuff, Dave. And I know some of the people that you've got lined up, and I will just say anything they've got to say, anybody should
Yeah,
listen.
so my guests are going to be across the spectrum. They're going to be some within the legal community, but a lot of them are going to be inside other industries. So I've got, in addition to Jim and the folks at SpliceNet, I've got other managed security providers. I've got people that are in the forensic side of things that are going to be guests and how they deal with things post breach. I have people that are internal, in-house IT, in-house cyber. I've got people in the risk management industry, such as insurance agents and whatnot, talking about, how you need to be, what the reality of the insurance market is, things like that. So we're going to be covering a lot of different topics, and the goal is it's all going to be really short and to the point.
You know what? I have enjoyed the online podcast and live broadcast um, platform for since we started doing it. It's been
Mhm.
fun since the beginning. Dave does that. We do this. We do the Reboot podcast. I do that with another group of people that are incredible professionals. That's every week. Vinny's going to be starting manufacturing it for manufacturing industry as well. And so we're going to have our hands full. We're going to have fun in 2022. I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. On the magazine, real quick, if you're interested on getting a print copy of it, when the time comes, we will give everyone an opportunity to sign up for it. We'll have all kinds of ways that you can get on that mailing. And remember, it's a physical print magazine. It's not electronic yet, so we're really excited. Also, this is a great place for now till our website launches. This is a great place to go for the links to all of our shows. Dave, we need to get a link to your podcast on here as well,
We'll definitely do
or
that.
you need to set up a link tree or something like that so that we can get your podcast on there and all the landing plots for everybody's favorite podcast platform. So for right now, that's what we've got. Again, if you're not a member of our LinkedIn group, No Law Firm Left Behind, of course, on LinkedIn, this is the link to go find it. And it's a horrible link. LinkedIn, get this fixed. We want vanity URLs by the end of the year, please. But if you can't write this down, then just go to LinkedIn and search No Law Firm Left Behind or hashtag No Law Firm Left Behind. You'll find the group in LinkedIn. So, Dave, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad
Good to
you're
meet
with us,
you.
Benny. We missed you today. So, final goodbyes until next week,
See
next
y'all next
Tuesday,
week.
10:30 Eastern. Take care, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye now.